So 90% of traders don't make any money. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you why that's not true. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Prince. And today we're talking about why you should treat your trading like a business. Very popular stat that people always reference as to why they talk themselves out of actually doing the work that needs to become a trader is that they say stuff like, well, 90 to 95% of traders lose money anyways, right? Like, how many times have you heard this? But then I looked into this and I realized that a lot of people who are actually calling themselves, a lot of people who are part of this statistic, people who are never going to become successful anyways. Now, 90% of people that do most things don't make any money or don't succeed. 90% of businesses don't make any money. 90% of people who start a diet don't make any money. Relationships, jobs. It's pretty much a universal rule, right? About 90% of people who start off going to the gym in January have quit by February. Now, does it mean that the gym doesn't work? No, it's just the people who are doing it don't work. And then let me ask you a question. How many foreign exchange traders do you know, like online? Like, how many, or maybe even in person, how many events have you been to? Like, if you actually think about it, it's probably countless, right? That's because there's such a low bar for entry. So if there's a low bar for entry in something, a lot of people are going to give it a try and a lot of people are going to fail. It's kind of like sales, right? Anyone can just get up and become a salesman. You just have to like try and sell something. Now, on the other hand, how many doctors do you know? Ask yourself, how many surgeons do you know? How many astronauts do you know? Probably don't know much. Maybe one or two. Maybe your family doctor who you've known since you were like a kid. But that's because the bar for entry becoming a doctor is so high, right? So you have to go through years and years of training before you can even be allowed to get a license to call yourself a doctor, right? But with foreign exchange trading, anyone can just grab a phone and upload a few documents, verify themselves and put $100 in an account, and now they're a trader, right? So naturally, there's going to be a bigger failure rate because anyone can just, okay. So now that that's out of the way, and I've given you some motivation to actually go and chase your goals, what's the biggest difference that I see between people who are successful traders and people who are unsuccessful traders? Now, this is the big thing. Successful traders fall in love with the process. Okay, successful traders become successful as a byproduct of them loving what they're doing. So the money is kind of a byproduct of them doing the work, doing the back testing, getting a mentor, following advice, trying and failing, journaling, doing all these things, thinking about charts, taking pictures, doing all that kind of stuff, going to events, reading books, right? Like I've spent time around 7-figure traders and 7-figure business owners. And the one thing that they all have in common is that they are able to control their temperament. They're very, very disciplined, right? Then they are in love with what they do, right? So they can be in business for years and not make any money. And then all of a sudden, boom, something happens. And it's like a hockey stick, success. And they just start printing money from nowhere. So trading is like the ultimate form of self-development. So people who are very good traders, people who are very good maybe going to the gym, people who are very good business people, they're introspective, they have a very good temperament. People who love going to the gym don't go to the gym because they want a six-pack. They go to the gym because they love going to the gym, and then the six-pack is a byproduct of that. They fall in love with the game. They love the competition. They almost have a chip on their shoulder and they want to make it happen because people told them that they wouldn't happen. There's a lot of reason why people get into trading and into business, and money usually is at the tail end of it. There's other whys to why they got into it. And the most important one is that you have to have self-discipline. So what does this look like in theory? And let me give you an example. Like, say for instance, you are a fairly unhealthy person, right? And you're trying to get fit. So this is where you are and this is where you're trying to get to. Now, the bridge to get there is what people tend to miss. So they're standing over here and they're looking over this bridge over here and they're looking at the pot of gold at the end of it, right? So let's say you're a trader and then you get into foreign exchange trading and you're broke, right? You're broke, you hate your job, you hate your life, and you want to, do bad things to yourself. And then over here is where you're happy, in shape, and then you have multiple girlfriends and money is coming out of your wazoo. I just said wazoo. But the thing is, a lot of people miss the bridge. Now, what's on this bridge is a bit scary. What's on this bridge is discipline. What's on this bridge is hundreds of hours of boring work. What's on this bridge is having to backtest multiple strategies, and most of them is not going to make any money. What's on this bridge is your emotional self struggling to not die, your ego pulling you back and down and again. So you kind of have to evolve into a very, very self-disciplined person. But the thing is, who you are now is never going to be able to achieve this thing, because who you are now simply does not have the skills to achieve it, right? So let's say, for instance, if you're trying to get in shape and you're fat or you're unfit and you're trying to be fit, right? On this bridge would be things like waking up early, going to the gym, punishing yourself. Like, if you think about it, if you actually sit down and think about what going to the gym entails, is that you pay someone money to go into a cold room with a bunch of strangers, sweaty, smelly, and then you lift a bunch of weight to rip your muscles into tiny little pieces so that it can regrow stronger, and then you can become bigger, maybe eventually at some point, perhaps. Well, no one actually knows, right? If you think about it that way, it is actually a bit strange, because you're going through pain, you're having to wake up early, you have DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, and you're doing this for months and months and months on end, and you don't even know if it's gonna work, and maybe eventually you start seeing some results. Because if you go to the gym once, nothing happens. You go to the gym twice, nothing happens. You have to do that consistently for years before perhaps you start seeing some significant results, right? So, but this is what you need to fall in love with. People who love going to the gym, they love waking up early. They love going for a run, going for a run in the rain and the snow and the heat. They get that runner's high. They actually love it. People who lift a lot of weights, they love that pain, that pain in their muscle. They wake up the next morning and they can't walk. Oh, that's the best feeling ever. So you kind of have to fall in love with that. They become obsessed with it. You see them counting their calories. You see them always, it's just like, oh, they're always going to it's like they're always dressed like they're going to the gym. They're always wearing you see someone who's like a bodybuilder, you look at them, they always look like they're about to drop into a random workout, right? And that's all they talk about. They're obsessed with it. That's all they think about. For you to be successful at trading, you need to make sure your shower thoughts are about trading. You have to see it in your dream sometimes, right? You need to be thinking about it all the time, to the point where you go to bed and you dream about it. If you get to that point, that's the point of obsession, healthy obsession, right? At least for the first few, when you first get into this. If you get into this thinking, okay, I just want to make some money, then you're just not going to do the things that need to be done to get there. Just like if you go into the gym just to get fit, you're probably going to quit very soon, right? There has to be another why to why you want to get fit. When I see someone who has been struggling for years to make their trading work, what I see is someone who hasn't fixed or hasn't become a disciplined enough person to make it work. So trading is like a mirror, held up to you. If you can't make it work, it's not because the market is against you. It's not because the brokers are stealing your money. It's not because the market makers are hunting your stop loss. It's because you are an undisciplined person. So when someone says, well, I can't, I've been doing this for years and I can't seem to make it work, essentially what they're telling me is that they're not disciplined enough to make it work. And that's okay, because this is the most fun part of the journey, because proper trading really is kind of boring. So enjoy this period right now. I'm not making this video to bash you and call you names and, put down your hustle. I was there. I struggled for years and years and years as well. Sometimes it takes you a lot of time to figure out what works, and that's okay. So how can you treat your trading like a business? So I'm gonna give you four or five. I'm gonna give you four tips. I'm gonna give you 4 lessons that you need to implement today to make this work. So number one, what markets do you want to trade? So I see people get into trading and they get overwhelmed. Or not overwhelmed, they get too excited. So they're looking at stocks, they're looking at Forex, they're looking at options, they're looking at futures, they trade in everything. They're like a kid in a candy store. And the last thing you want to do is this, because it gets you into this frame of mind of I need to make everything work for me to make this work. So the more you niche down, the more of an expert you are. Now think about bringing you back to the doctor example again. The most well-paid doctors are the ones who only do one thing. General practitioners don't make any money. People who make the most money are specialists. So specialize in one asset class, focus on that, and crush it before you move to another asset class, even if you need to, right? So that's number one. So number two is one asset class. So pick Forex, pick stocks, options, and trade that only. So that's number one. And then number two is what time frame are you going to trade? Now, again, with this question, it comes down to, because most people who are getting into trading have a life already. They're just trying to like modify it. So usually you probably have a wife or a husband or kids or other engagement, hobbies, you have a job, you have things that you're doing, right? So I would say for you to pick a time frame, ask yourself what kind of lifestyle you're looking to live. So if you're working between the hours of 6 a.m. to 9 or 6 a.m. to like 6 p.m., then the only time you have really and truly is like any time after that. So I see people trying to like have a full-time job and also like day trade the London session while they're at work in a meeting, and they're pulling out their phone and they're distracted and they're trying to take a trade, and then they mess it up and then they feel bad and then they burn out and then they try to revenge trade and they lose more money. So that's the last thing you want to do. Ask yourself, well, how much time do I have during the day and what kind of market does that fall into? And then start there. And don't deviate from that, because all that's going to happen is that you're going to try to get into a trade. You're going to figure out that, oh no, I got in too late and now I've missed so many trades and now I feel bad for myself and now I'm going to try to get it back, and then bad things start to happen. Okay, so pick a time frame that fits around your lifestyle and stick with that. Now, number three is how much are you looking to trade with? Now, if you're getting started, I would say don't even focus on this. The reason why I want people to start trading real money, is because it carries a different sort of emotion. So if you're gonna like demo trade, if you're starting off, if you're like brand new, I'd say just focus on learning the skill. And then the second level would be to focus on demo trading. And then third level would be to focus on real money. And this is important here. Use the money that you are willing to lose. So if you're not willing to lose this money, don't. The reason why I say you should use money you're willing to lose is that playing with real money trains your real emotions. So most people do well on demo accounts. People can understand why they can make so much money on a demo, but then as soon as they get real money, they just lose everything. Well, that's because it's different emotions, right? So you need to train these emotions with like a little money that you can use, because taking a trade in a demo account carries a very different emotion from taking a trade on a real account. Again, it's gonna bring me back to what I've said already, but fall in love with the process, fall in love with intention, forget about the money. If you fall in love with doing the right things, the money will come as a byproduct. Okay, so that brings me back to the fun part. So this is point number 4. So technical and risk management. So the name of the game is to protect your capital, to protect your downside, and everything else will take care of itself, right? So guys, remember, profits that you withdraw, okay, withdrawals are just profits that you didn't give back to the market, right? Now, I always say, so if you get rid of your downside, your upside will take care of itself. So stop worrying about, taking home run trades, increasing your risk to reward, or revenge trading, or doubling your account or stuff like that. Stuff you should be focusing on is more like, you should be focusing on like reducing your risk, reducing your stop loss, cutting stop losers short and letting your winners run, journaling your trades so that you can see what kind of currency pairs are doing well, which ones are not doing well, so you can cut them out very quickly. Because guys, remember, your winners pay for your losers, right? So the more losses you have, the more you have to pay back to the market. So if you cut out all the bad pairs, reduce your risk as much as possible, then that would just automatically increase your reward by default, right? So I'm not saying don't take good trades, but what you should be focusing on the most is to avoid the bad trades, right? Avoid the bad currency pairs, avoid the bad stocks, avoid the bad assets, and then focus on the ones that actually make money. and your equity curve would just skyrocket. And guys, the last one would be to journal your trades. So when I say journal your trades, most people are just talking about like where do you put your entry, where are your stops, you know, what kind of currency pair, what kind of time frame. But I also want you to add something in there. It's about the psychology. So ask yourself, when you made these bad trades, because everyone makes bad trades, what was I feeling at that point? What was my temperament? Remember when I said about people who are obsessed with improvement are the people who actually make money in this market. So ask yourself, when I made these mistakes, what was I feeling? What kind of an emotional state was I in? And how can I avoid it next time? So don't just journal, well, I took Euro USD 1 hour at 2 a.m. and it didn't work out. Well, why didn't it work out? What happened? Was it a bad trade? Was it a good trade? Did you follow all your rules? If you didn't, why? What happened? What were you thinking? What were you feeling? So ask yourself these questions and also journal them so that you don't make the mistakes over and over again, because you might have a lot of bad habits to unlearn if you're gonna be successful as a trader. If you're gonna use if you're gonna journal your trades, you don't worry about using like expensive tools. You can just use your Excel, you know, just time frame, currency pair, all that good stuff, and then at the end of it, you just put emotional stability or psychology or whatever. How are you feeling when you took this trade? Just write it down and just pay attention to your you know, to how you're feeling when you're taking trades, because that's how you train your emotions for the next time you're prepared for it. So guys, that is the end of the video for today. I hope you got some value from it. And if you need a step-by-step guide on how I first started getting some success in trading, I first started getting success when I first started trading advanced patterns. And if you want to see how I trade advanced patterns, actually I have like screenshots and back-tested results in there as well. Check out the link in the description. I'm gonna put it in there. You can also join us in our free Facebook group. And if you want to have a chat with me one-on-one, I also have a calendar link in the description as well. And you can have a chat with me and we can see how you are struggling with your trading and if I can help you with that. And guys, hopefully you got some value from this. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.